history cannot escape time, for its chariot marches on relentlessly. And time cannot escape history, for its pen scribbles ceaselessly. The year is 1036. As the darkness of the night thickens, the earth begins to undulate with rain. Raja Kankaldev, accompanied by his faithful soldiers, makes his way through the jungles of these hills. Lightning crashes against the dense clouds, briefly illuminating the path ahead, and the army advances at a steady pace.
Maharaj, it has become difficult to navigate through this dark, moonless night. There seems to be a hermit's cottage in the distance and ruins of an ancient temple nearby. Shall we camp here tonight?
Very well. We shall rest here now and proceed again at daybreak.
We have been blessed with a scarlet sun this morning, unusually bright and affectionate. It seems like a blanket of crimson skies has descended upon us.
You should consider this auspicious. We now have the blessings of our sun god, in whose name me and my ancestors are called Surya Vanshis.
Maharaj, do you not belong to the lineage of Lord Ram?
Indeed, Suryavanshi Lord Ram himself is in the lineage of the sun god.
I see.
When his son Kush left Ayodhya, his descendants founded the city of Rohtasgarh near River Sone. And as time passed, they moved to Gwalior and settled around Narwar. Those Suryavanshis were called Kachwaha.
Before the establishment of Amer in Jaipur, this region was known as Dhundar, founded by Dule Rai in 966 AD. He constructed the temple of Jamvai Mata in Ramgarh, and soon after, she was affirmed the goddess of the Kachwaha dynasty. Raja Kankaldev is the worthy son of Dule Rai.
Swarup Singh Ji, we will abandon Dausa and make our new capital here, on these hills. I like this place. Besides, it's secure as well. And did you hear the greetings of the eagle overhead? What could be more auspicious than such an honorable welcome?
Maharaj, this place is indeed known as the Chilka Tila, the hill abode of eagles. It belongs to the Meena tribe.
No, Swarup Ji, no. It used to belong to them.
No time in defeating the local Meena tribe and laying the foundations of their new capital in Amer. It is believed that Raja Kankaldev constructed a fort atop this hill called Kankilgarh and established the Ambikeshwar temple, from where Amer derives its name. But local folklore suggests that Amer was named after the goddess Amba Mata, who was worshipped by the Meena tribe. Tales and legends are always more intriguing than facts. And so it is also said that Raja Kankildev's father, Dule Rai, is none other than Dhola Rai of the famous love fable Dhola Baru, which still resounds widely in Rajasthan.
देह विदाता पंखड़ी मिली मिली आऊं नीत
काली काली ढोला काजली यारी एक सा काली काली काजली यारी एक सा कोई बुराड़ी बुरजा पर चमके बिजली कोई बुराड़ी बुरजा पर चमके बिजली जुग जीवो है मुमल हले तोल चालू मारू जी
मारे केसरिया बालम आमुनी पधारू भारे पधारू भारे बागा मीठी कोयली तोरारी मीठी तलीवार 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 सेजा मीठी कामनी तो चौपड़ी मीठी शारी सेजा मीठी
With the establishment of the capital, the foundation of a new fort was also laid. That marked the beginning of a 700-year rule of the Kachwaha dynasty from this very fort of Amer. In the early age of bow and arrow, the fort walls stood low. But the coming of gunpowder and increasing use of guns raised the height of the walls considerably. The walls cast in stone were also cast in poetry. Many poets of the time sang in praise of Amer, describing the beauty, royalty, and valor of the Rajputs.
पहुंचत भो आमेर में हुकुम भूप जैसा ही महल चील ठौरा बने बासर उत्तम माही जय गढ़ता को नाऊंगे भाशिव फेरी नरेश करनी अधिकाई जिते बरनी जाति न शेष
The Rajputs not only wielded the blade in the battlefield, but also walked admirably on the blade of love.
तलवार से वो घायल करे नैन से घायल हुए तेग और भाले सब सहे बैन से घायल हुए
With every new ruler, the fort was extended, expanded, and adorned further. The Kachwahas were not just able warriors, but efficient administrators and strategists as well, maintaining cordial relations with other rulers through diplomacy, friendship, and royal exchanges. Over the centuries, their contribution to India's flourishing riches, traditions, and culture has been significant. Stories of India's great wealth and treasures reached far and wide. As a result, many invaders headed here to pillage and plunder the great land, marking the beginning of a new chapter in India's history. Persians, Greeks, Scythians, Huns, Turks, Mongols, Afghans, they all came to invade the country, but none could establish a base, and they soon retreated, but with caravans full of wealth. One invader followed another, Khilji, Tughlaq, Lodi. They came, they ruled, but were eventually ousted by the native rulers. Meanwhile, India stood unbeatable. Her customs, traditions, culture, digging deeper roots and grounding her even more. With the arrival of the Mughals in the 16th century, history turned a new page. India had never been so vulnerable, timorous, anxious, and yet acquiescent. In 1526, Mughal Emperor Babur met Ibrahim Lodi in the battlefield of Panipat. This fierce war was witness to an innovative facet, the use of cannons and guns by the invaders. The blasts created a complete frenzy amongst the elephants in the Lodi army, and Babur emerged victorious. This indeed was a landmark victory, after which the Mughals seemed unassailable as they advanced. Even today, if you turn and look back over your right shoulder, you will see the terror of the approaching Mughal army. As Babur led his army towards Rajasthan with rising confidence, Rana Sangha of Mewar and Prithviraj of Amer, along with many other Rajput kings, formed a common army. 17th March 1527. The Mughal army confronted this grand multitude of Rajput soldiers in the fields of Khanwa. Babur had heard many tales of the glory of the Rajput men he now faced. In the mortal danger of a defeat, he hesitated at first, but called upon his soldiers to muster courage for one final effort, for that last drop of sweat and blood, the ultimate battle, and was rewarded with the sweet smell of victory, which finally established the Mughal rule in India. King Prithviraj of Amer was married to Balabai, a greatly revered woman in Rajasthan and an ardent devotee of Lord Krishna, who was given the stature of Meera. The royal women of the Kachwaha court were highly influential and have been known to infuse religious and spiritual beliefs in many of their king husbands. During this period, foundations of numerous temples were laid in Amer, each dedicated to a different deity and built by a different ruler. Just as day fell to night, and night awoke to another beautiful dawn, eras in history came and went. In the 16th and the 17th century, India was awash with a wave of religious and spiritual sentiments. In the northern state of Punjab, one could hear the voice of Sikh Guru Nanak.
गगन में थाने रव चंद दीपक बने तार कमंडल जनक मोती धूप माल आन लो पवन चमरो करे सकल बन राए फुलंत ज्योति कैसी आरती कैसी आरती हुई अवखंडना तेरी आरती अनहता सबद वाजंत तेरी कैसी आरती हुई अवखंडना तेरी आरती.
The epic Ramayana inspired Tulsidas in Banaras to pen Ramcharitmanas.
रघुकुल रीति सदा चली आई प्राण जा
Rajasthan, Rahim and Raskhan recited couplets in the Braj language, and the land echoed with the music of Ravidas and Meera.
मेरे को गिरधर गोपाल दूसरों ना कोई मेरे को गिरधर गोपाल दूसरों ना कोई जाके सिर मोर मुकुट मेरो पति सोई मेरे को गिरधर गोपाल दूसरों ना कोई मेरे को गिरधर गोपाल दूसरों ना
The air was filled with love, peace, and harmony. With Mughals consolidating their position in India, a new era of the Ganga Jamuni Tehzeeb emerged, a synthesis of Hindu and Islamic practices of art and culture.
ख्वाजा जी ख्वाजा जाऊं मैं तो पेवारी रे मोरी ऐसी चुनर रंग डारी ख्वाजा मोरी ऐसी चुनर रंग आहे रंग डारी मोरी ऐसी चुनर रंग ओ मैं जाऊं बारी ऐसी चुनर रंग डारी ख्वाजा जाऊं मैं तो पेवारी.
When Emperor Akbar ascended the Mughal throne, he expressed his desire to form military alliances with all Rajput kings. Taking a cue, Raja Bharmal of Amer approached his loyal friend Majnu Khan, one of the commanders of Emperor Akbar, to arrange a meeting.
Jahanpana, I take pleasure in introducing to you Raja Bharmal of Amer, chief ruler of the Kachwaha dynasty of Rajputs, known for his humility, nobility, and valor. It has been his heartfelt desire to walk in your shadow and offer allegiance to the mighty emperor.
The great Emperor Babur had mentioned in his memoirs that if the desire to rule over India is to be successfully fulfilled, it stands imperative to respect and regard the traditions, culture, and sentiments of every clan, sect, or tribe of the nation without interference or intrusion. It is our desire to follow the same principles. Very well. Raja Bharmal, I am pleased to see you, and I welcome you to our humble quarters. And what is it that we can do for you?
Jahanpana, my only wish is to offer my dear daughter's hand in marriage to you. Bowing my head before my sword, I vow to serve in the defense of you, your family, and your rule.
We are convinced of your loyalty, allegiance, and fidelity, Raja Bharmal, and we are delighted to accept the offer for marriage. Your daughter shall now be known as Malika-e-Azam, the Queen of the Empire.
6th February 1562. The city of Sambhar. Mughal Emperor Akbar and the daughter of the Rajput king Raja Bharmal, Harkabai, tied the conjugal knot according to Hindu traditions. The city came alive with the vibrant colors of Rajasthan, resounding with myriad folk songs and the Ghumar dance. This was the first pact between the Kachwaha dynasty and the Mughal rule, paving the way for many more. And born from this alliance was the Rajput Mughal prince Jahangir. Jahangir later took to the throne and marked an important place for himself in the history of India. In the true spirit of the Ganga Jamuni Tehzeeb, conceived by Emperor Babur, Akbar's court not only observed the Muslim festival of Eid with great fervor, but also celebrated Hindu festivals like Janmashtami, Deepavali, Dashehra, and Holi, all with the same zeal and passion.
भक्ति सागर है 14 भुवन में उजागर है ये कोकिल बनी सदानंद किशोरी मृग नयनी महिमा प्यारी हे चंद्र बदनी सदानंद किशोरी अब तो दरस दिखावा जा
From Sanganer, the emperor took Raja Bharmal's son Man Singh along with him. Despite being a Rajput, Man Singh soon gained recognition as one of the Navratna or 9 jewels of the Mughal court and was also made the commander-in-chief of the army. Man Singh was a learned man, a keen scholar of Sanskrit, Persian, Rajasthani and Hindi. When this palace of Amer was founded in 1599, Man Singh not only promoted and encouraged the art and crafts here, but also took it upon himself to bridge the disparity between men and women. The royal women were now allowed to partake in the festivities and celebrations of the imperial quarters. Many rulers accepted sovereignty of the Mughal Empire. Rana Pratap of Mewar, however, was too sanctimonious. Emperor Akbar gave Man Singh the responsibility to persuade Rana Pratap to follow suit. Man Singh had invited himself to the Mewar court for a feast. This was unusual, more so an extraordinary circumvention of protocol. But the Rana accepted. It was against Rajput hospitality to not welcome a guest. And although he received Man Singh with great honor and elaborate arrangements, on the pretext of a headache, Rana Pratap refused to dine with him. Insulted, Man Singh rose from his seat and said,
I can always recommend a treatment for his headache, but I have no cure for this misdemeanor. If he has forgotten how to respectfully welcome a guest into his house, he could have at least conducted the meal with honor.
Rajputs have always been known to weave around idiosyncrasy. They may be quick to anger, but regard respect, pride, and honor as most definitive virtues. So Man Singh took a few grains of rice from his platter and, tying them within the folds of his turban, said,
I do not wish to disrespect the god of victuals by leaving this food untouched. And yet, I do not wish to consume it. Hence, I clutch these grains to take back with me. I shall neither forget nor forgive the impertinence I have been shown today. Rana, I am bound by kinship on one hand and duty on the other. And on both accounts, my desire was only to settle matters without any carnage. But today's misconduct shall be remembered, Rana, and you will have to pay for this. You yourself will have to face me.
Rana Pratap's reply was distinct and stern.
Raja Man Singh, face I shall, but in the battlefield.
Emperor Akbar's arrogance, Rana Pratap's pride, and Man Singh's duty. Consequence, the Battle of Haldi Ghati in 1576. The commander-in-chief of the Mughal army was the Hindu ruler Man Singh, who came face to face with Hakim Khan Sur, a Muslim general of the Hindu state of Mewar. The armies were bold, the battle was fierce, and fortunes were being written in sand, first favoring one faction and, in the next instance, the other. Sensing the Mughal army's bid to surround and immobilize Rana Pratap, the Rajput army manipulated his escape on his loyal horse to a secure distance. Pratap lost all territory, and yet won in the face of defeat, for he had not been captured. Wherever there were cries of discontent and revolts in the Mughal Empire, Akbar would commission Man Singh to lead the Mughal army to suppress these uprisings. Yusuf Chagatai, along with many other tribe leaders, mutinied against the mighty empire. But Man Singh was able to overpower them, hoisting the Mughal flag even higher. On one such mission, Man Singh's army was trekking through the frigid mountains in the north, en route to Kabul and Kandahar, and River Indus near Attock was swelling with icy rapids. Some soldiers hesitated, believing that crossing the river into foreign land would result in inauspicious fate. Man Singh came to the front and recited a couplet. All land belongs to one deity. Where is the hindrance in that? But they who have hindrance in their souls are hindered.
Samay bhumi ko paar ki, yaame atak kaha, jaake man mein atak hai, soi atak raha.
All apprehensions disappeared, and the soldiers leapt across the raging river on their horses. War was long and tedious, and it took Man Singh 6 years to achieve the pennant of victory. At the end of the battle, Manohar Das, the chief of Samod, took the flags of the 5 defeated rebel clans and placed them in Man Singh's hands. Combining the colors of these 5 flags, red, white, yellow, green, and blue, Man Singh established the flag of Amer. This flag continued to adorn Jaipur till the Indian tricolour was instituted. As the governor of Bengal, Man Singh defeated the Raja of Jishore and returned with the idol of goddess Shila Devi, establishing her in a temple within the fort. She was worshipped with great reverence in the royal family, and even today, people from across the country throng here to pay their respects. After Man Singh, Mirza Raja Jai Singh succeeded the throne of Amer at the mere age of 10. He kept alive the embers of the Kachwaha dynasty. He constructed the famous Diwan-e-Am court with expert and skilled craftsmanship, perfectly blending Hindu and Islamic architecture, decorated with unmatched ornate carvings. Even today, it stands as an evidence of consummate pride, honor, and reverence of the Kachwaha dynasty. The court not only echoed the sounds of proficient administration, but one would also often hear couplets recited by the famous poet Bihari Lal. And for each couplet presented in the court, he would receive a piece of gold. The rose, Your Highness, is not yet in bloom. It has neither honey nor pollen. If just a bud makes a king forget himself, what will happen when the rose blossoms?
पराग नहीं मधुर मधु नहीं विकास इहि काल अली कली ही सौ बंध्यो आगे कौन हवा
During the reign of Emperor Aurangzeb, the Marathas, a strong Deccan clan known for their tactical warfare, were gradually escalating attacks on Delhi and Rajasthan. When Aurangzeb's army failed to capture the Maratha warrior Shivaji, the emperor commissioned Mirza Raja Jai Singh to engage him. Jai Singh cornered Shivaji in Purandar and persuaded him to negotiate. An alliance was drawn between Shivaji and the Mughals, wherein many forts and constituencies were distributed amongst them, and it was also agreed that the Maratha warrior would soon be presented in court before Emperor Aurangzeb. Mirza Raja Jai Singh was unable to attend the court, but gave charge to his son Ram Singh to ensure the comfort, safety, and dignity of Shivaji, and also requested Aurangzeb to honor this promise with stately magnitude. When Shivaji came into the Mughal court, he was slapped with a meager rank much lower than his contemporaries. He was enraged by this insult, and facing the entire court, he addressed Mirza Raja Jai Singh's son, Ram Singh.
Your father gave me his word that I would be shown full respect and deference in this court. Is this Rajput honor? Is this Mughal honor? My workers and servants get a mansab of 5,000, and that is what has been granted to me. I have been deemed even below the likes of your Jaswant Singh, whom I have repeatedly defeated in the battlefield.
Shivaji was infuriated, livid. Aurangzeb asked Ram Singh,
What's the matter, Ram Singh? What complaints does he bring?
Jahapana, please do not bother yourself with these trivial matters. The Maratha king is used to different customs. He is not familiar with the ways of our court.
Take him with you and see that he is taken care of.
Ram Singh tried to plead with Shivaji, but he was adamant. Despondent with the consequences, many courtiers carried complaints against him to the emperor. It eventually became an open secret that Shivaji would be sentenced to death. When Ram Singh heard the news, he was reminded of his father's promise. He facilitated Shivaji's escape to Agra, who roamed through thick jungles disguised as an innocent saint. 12th September 1666. On reaching the fort of Raigad, Shivaji's mother Jijabai celebrated the arrival of her son by declaring his coronation. The fort of Raigad exploded with song, dance and merriment. Aurangzeb suspected the hand of Mirza Raja Jai Singh in Shivaji's escape from prison, but he had to suppress his anger, for it was of utmost importance to maintain jovial relations with Amer. And therefore, when in 1700 Mirza Raja Jai Singh's grandson, Jai Singh II, took the throne at the mere age of 12, the Mughal emperor bestowed upon him the title of Raja, along with other territorial and financial privileges. Hearing about Jai Singh's bravery in the battlefield, Aurangzeb dismissed all past acrimony, took the young Jai Singh's hands in his, and said,
You're in my grip. Tell me, what can you do now?
Jahapana, I can do everything. At the time of matrimony, the man holds his bride's one hand and promises her the world, to be with her and protect her for life. You have embraced both my hands in yours. What else could I ask for? All my prayers have been answered.
Subhanallah. You are witty and clever. You truly are a sawai, more than others.
People cross these fleeting dunes, embedding their footprints in the sand, only to find even the slightest breeze sweeps these trails off the surface of this enchanting land. As the desert turns into another unrecognizable face, what seemed like only a moment turned history to a new page. The death of Aurangzeb in 1707 led to a Mughal war of succession. While the Mughals were slowly losing their stronghold on one hand, the attacks by the Marathas were steadily increasing. Through sheer diplomacy and foresight, supported by a large army, Raja Savai Jai Singh became the most formidable ruler in northern India. All the other Rajas now turned to him for protection and the promotion of their interests at the imperial court. Raja Savai Jai Singh was a visionary man, far-sighted and meticulous. With Amer now bursting at its seams with people and the Raja's idea to make his capital a new trade center, Savai Jai Singh decided to shift the Kachwaha capital out of the historic city of Amer. 18th November 1727. A new city was established, named after the king himself, Jaipur. With his far-sightedness and scrupulous thoughts, he made the first planned city of India, designed on a grid system. Till date, it stands with pride and honor as one of the most important sites in North India and one of its three great jewels. Savai Jai Singh was the first Hindu ruler in centuries to perform ancient Vedic ceremonies, promote Sanskrit learning, and initiate reforms in the Hindu society, such as the abolition of sati. It was at Jai Singh's insistence that many taxes, especially those levied on Hindus by Mughals, were abolished. In 1719, a noisy discussion in the court of Mughal Emperor Muhammad Shah Rangila prompted Raja Savai Jai Singh to ponder on the subject of astronomy. Greatly influenced by ancient Indian sciences as well as developments in the Western world, he invited many scholars to India, from whom he learnt and honed his own skills in mathematics and astronomy. He built 5 astronomical observatories across North India, in Delhi, Jaipur, Ujjain, Varanasi and Mathura, which are today popularly known as Jantar Mantar. It is surprising that in the midst of local wars, foreign invasions and consequent turmoil, Savai Jai Singh found the time and energy to build astronomical observatories. It would not be out of context to say that 300 years ago, Raja Savai Jai Singh laid the foundations of a modern India. Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru wrote about him in The Discovery of India.
Jai Singh would have been a remarkable man anywhere and at any time. The fact that he rose and functioned as a scientist in the typically feudal milieu of Rajputana and during one of the darkest periods of Indian history when disruption and war and tumults filled the scene is very significant.
With the establishment of the new capital at Jaipur, Amer's splendor and grandeur began to wane. Finally, after 600 years, did she get the chance to lay back in repose. But the constant attacks by the Marathas would jolt and wake her from deep sleep. The royal treasures were no longer safe. The Kachwaha fortune was not only threatened by foreign invaders, but there were many conniving minds here as well. Raja Savai Jai Singh needed a new fort to keep the state's wealth secure. And so, in 1734, the foundations were laid for Nahargarh. Constructed closer to Jaipur, Nahargarh became like a brother, keeping a watch on his sibling, Jaipur. As Jaipur grew out of adolescence, Amer came to play the role of the revered forebear. Lost in the quiet of the surrounding hills, misty clouds, sweeping winds, Amer reminisced her youth, bringing back memories of the forgotten days. Surajpur, facing the sun, inviting its warmth and invoking its blessings. This large entryway kept the land of the Suryavanshis flourishing with happiness and wealth. Chandpur, facing the moon as it climbed through the dark western skies. This gateway overlooked the main city, forming a direct passageway to the old palace. Divan-e-Aam, built as the public hall of audience, was constantly heaving with people and brimming with noblemen, and never failed to welcome its king with extreme stateliness and opulence. Ganeshpur, the provider of prosperity and the destroyer of obstacles, Ganesh kept his doors ajar and blessed all those who sought comfort within the palace walls. Divan-e-Khas, the hall of private audience, plastered in a mosaic of reflective glass, this palace of mirrors would shimmer to life by lighting a single lamp. Baradari, this open court would be teeming with princesses, maids, musicians, dancers, and painters who would often congregate within the central pavilion to celebrate festivals and holidays. And the path on the left leads you to Jaigarh, which stood majestically over the palace of Amer. Lamps were lit within the Diva Burj, the cylindrical watchtower, and could be seen from miles away, navigating men back home in the dark of the desert night. And for Amer's security, the world's largest movable cannon, Jaivan, was commissioned to be built there. So long was its barrel, and so powerful was its range, that once fired, it would be heard miles away. Holding on to past culture, tradition, and customs, Amer was fading into a stupor. Cracking plaster on the fort walls could be repaired. But as one government gave way to another, the loneliness Amer felt was never realized. The temples thrived with prayers and processions, but the Kachwaha royalty limited itself only to the new bounds it had created, Jaipur. 2 centuries went by. Jaipur was witness to everything: the British rule, the fight for independence, even freedom. But Amer was still standing afar, watching Jaipur like a distant relative, and she wept unspoken tears within. How long could this melancholy remain unnoticed? Eventually, India claimed her autonomy. She was free and independent. But Amer still waited in the hope that someone would remember her too. And she was remembered. 1954. Amer's doors were finally thrown ajar for the public.
होंगे राजे राजकुंवर हम बिगड़े दिल शहजादे बिगड़े दिल शहजादे हम सिंहासन पर जा बैठे जब जब करे इरादे जब जब करे इरादे
Amer now belonged to the people, and the people belonged to Amer.